All right. So just a quick housekeeping note. We do have closed captioning available for folks who want or need it today. I'm going to just take a moment to walk you through how to do that. So if you've joined with us today on a computer, you're going to need to look at the Zoom menu bar down on your screen. If you clicked the caret near the show caption button, and it'll prompt you to select the caption language, which you might want in English or a different language if possible, but we are speaking English, so that will be the most helpful one to you now. If you are joining with a cell phone or a tablet, you'll click the button here that says captions. You want to enable show captions, so you'll have a slider. You want it to be green. And then once you click the caption language for English, go ahead and save your settings, and that should be enough to have your closed captioning on for our presentation today. All right, a couple other quick housekeeping notes. This workshop is being recorded for the Homeownership SF YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that YouTube channel, it's full of great resources like this presentation we're going to be giving today. Please go ahead and remain on mute for the duration of our panel today until we get to the Q&A period. If you have questions that come up throughout the presentation, please go ahead and type those into the chat for our Q&A session. You're going to hear from myself, Sydney, and Rosa about our programs and services through our different agencies, at which point afterwards we will open it up for questions so we can speak directly to what feels most important to you all. If you have technical difficulties, please go ahead and chime in the chat and we'll try and troubleshoot as best we can. Otherwise, you can email Raquel Sardaguda at raquel@homeownershipsf.org. All right, this is a little bit about Homeownership SF and their membership agencies. Homeownership SF is a coalition of 5 San Francisco-based housing counseling agencies. Asian Inc., Balance, the SF LGBT Center, MEDA, and the San Francisco Housing Displacement Coalition, I believe. Raquel, is that correct? I forget their acronym all the time. I'm terrible.
Housing Development.
There we go. Housing Development Corporation. Thank you so much. I apologize.
My pleasure.
All right, and so to learn more about Homeownership SF, their website is a fantastic resource to learn both about affordable home ownership opportunities and affordable rental options in San Francisco as well. I really recommend their website, which is homeownershipsf.org. You can also reach out to them by phone, which is 415-202-5464, or their email, which is info@homeownershipsf.org. All right, and this is a little bit of my contact information. So this is how you can find me at Open House. I mentioned at the top of the hour, my name's Ashling Peterson. I am the supervisor of the Housing and Resource Navigation Program at Open House. You can visit our website at openhousesf.org. We actually don't need the hyphen anymore, which is exciting news. We're moving up in the world. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our different services, and I can specifically focus on our housing program as well. So just a little bit about us at Open House. We have been around in San Francisco since 1998. We are by, for, and about LGBTQ seniors especially, as well as adults with disabilities. We are located physically at 65 Laguna Street. It's right where Guerrero and Market meet, if you're familiar with the city and our roadmaps. We have tons of opportunities that just bring folks together in the LGBTQ community across different generations. That includes volunteer hours, intergenerational programming, and times where we are just here and in community with our seniors. We've got a bunch of different virtual and hybrid options, in person or virtual, to get together. We're all about just reducing isolation and bringing our communities together. For our specific housing and resources, we have a few different ways that we provide direct services. I think if you want to go ahead and click through those, Raquel, I think they show up. Yeah. So we have weekly drop-in hours is the fastest way to get housing support directly from us at open house. Those are Wednesday afternoons and Thursday mornings. We also offer twice monthly housing workshops that go over really how do you navigate the rental housing process when you're looking for affordable housing. We also have a grant with the Department of Disability and Aging Services to create a monthly housing list of basically every housing opportunity that's affordable we can find in San Francisco, Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, and San Mateo counties. Um, whether we're doing drop-in hours or our direct one-on-one appointments, you're always going to receive one-on-one housing counseling support from our small team at Open House. And when you come in, we can actually assist you with looking for and applying to affordable housing opportunities, providing some basic information about tenants' rights. And we also are a part of the Aging and Disability Resource Center network in San Francisco. So we also have staff that can help you get information about things like medical care and coverage, case management, or in-home support services. I mentioned earlier that we also have several different community engagement programs. The whole goal of these programs is to bring people together and in community. That looks like a bunch of different things, whether it's mind-body activities like yoga, health education seminars. We have coming up pretty soon an estate planning workshop that really breaks down the process and all the complicated parts that go into that. We do have some home delivered groceries as well, and a bunch of different peer-led support groups for several different identities that you might be a part of to feel a little bit less alone in this world. All right. So our other things that are also fun, in addition to some of the other activities we have going on, are a few other activities. Raquel, if you can tap that. We have a friendly visitor program, which is about building intergenerational connection between seniors of different age ranges, as well as younger people who really want to connect with elders. We have a bunch of different language classes. I think that we have one about several different Romance languages right now. Like I said, several drop-in support groups as well as discussion groups. And we have a big Pride Parade float every year. You can actually come and ride with us in one of our golf carts, which is always really exciting. So we hope to see you there for some other of our activities as well. We do also have some groups and specific activities for folks in the trans and gender non-conforming community. Some of our most popular support groups are specifically for our trans folks. We also have some direct and dedicated staff who are there to help with problem solving and case management type supports. Another service we offer is community day services. This is really a pretty pioneering program here at Open House. We partner with Unlock to provide community day services on site at 75 Laguna. This includes a meal, transportation to and from, specific programming that focuses on the unique experience of LGBTQ elders, and really provides an opportunity for folks to stay in community and connected while remaining in their home as opposed to being institutionalized or sent to nursing homes or assisted living early on. And in case folks are interested, if you're a senior service provider, we are actually providing training and transformation services to help other people in our community serve LGBTQ elders better. So if you are doing the work of working with seniors or adults with disabilities and you want to learn how better to support specifically your LGBTQ folks who are a part of and already a part of your communities, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you get to a better and more supportive place for LGBTQ older adults and people with disabilities. All right, that about wraps it up for me. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Sydney Gartman at Legal Assistance to the Elderly. Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. My name is Sydney. I work for Legal Assistance to the Elderly as an outreach lead and client advocate. and today I'm going to tell you a little more about what we do. So, we provide a myriad of services that assist residents in San Francisco above the age of 60 or residents in San Francisco below the age of 60 with a government verified disability. Primarily, that's SSI and SSDI. Our services are free of cost and we are fully funded by grants. So, here are some of the services that we provide, starting with end of life planning. This pertains to wills, trusts, advanced healthcare directives, financial power of attorneys, and the goal of this service is that elder can age with peace of mind and know that their items will be taken care of after they pass away. Um, you know, any assets that you own, any personal property, you can bequeath them to a loved one of your choosing, and we can assist you with drafting those documents. Another area that we help with is financial elder abuse litigation. So, if you are being abused or taken advantage of, it is not your fault, and we want to help you. Um, Millions of dollars each year go toward defending elder abuse clients, and um, and this is necessary because our main goal in LAE is that seniors age with dignity, that they age safely, that they age healthily, and with financial security. So, another way that we assist seniors is with foreclosure prevention and litigation. We assist at all stages of a foreclosure, from the trigger to the eviction. And there often are clients who think that it's too late, that once they receive the notice, that there's nothing they can do. But you do have rights, and we want to make sure that those rights are protected. Um, Another way that we help seniors is with consumer debt defense and consumer protection litigation. So, this pertains to elders and disabled adults who are experiencing debt collection problems. Often, debt collectors will harass adults, call them many times a day, send letters trying to satisfy a debt. And many times, this debt can be eradicated, but what is necessary is that the senior responds and and is in communication with the debt collector, and we represent those seniors and get the collectors off their backs. One other area that we practice is housing preservation and eviction defense. So these is for tenants that are facing evictions, that are facing illegal rent increases, denials of reasonable accommodations of their disabilities. And we help and we defend seniors who are facing these issues. A lot of times, renters want to oust these seniors because they secured their rent at a below market rate, and they've lived in place in these homes or apartments for years, and you know, landlords see the opportunity to gain more in rent, and so they want to oust these people. But we believe that people should be able to age in place and age safely and age in their homes. And one last service area that we provide is healthcare and benefits advocacy. We help with issues such as Social Security benefits, healthcare benefits. That's like, say you have Medicare and there needed to be an ambulance called, and it was deemed medically unnecessary. Well, we help defend the client and make sure that, well, hopefully we would help with the denial and get it appealed. and first. Next slide, please. So a little bit more about our foreclosure services. The elderly are actually the only population eligible for a reverse home mortgage. And this is a line of credit that can be taken out against a home or a property and help that elder with costs of maintaining a home. Often this can make an elder a target of financial elder abuse if someone wants to um, use those funds for their unintended purposes, and um, and that's something that we help with in keeping the senior protected in those ways. Another issue that often happens with foreclosures is when there are predatory practices in place, and um, this can come across many ways. One of which is just completely unreasonable loans being taken out against the borrower, and yeah, and then we want to make sure that any home buyer was given their due process. So yeah, we help with loan modifications if the loan was too high. We help with negotiations with your lender, and yeah, we there are many programs that are there to assist homeowners, especially in the real estate land of San Francisco. So that's something that we assist with. Right. So we also hold a clinic that is a collaboration between LAE and Asian Americans Advancing Justice, Jubilee Immigration Advocates, and Excelsior Works. This clinic is held in District 11, which is in the Mission. And yeah, and we help with all types of legal services with regards to evictions and and landlord-tenant relations. Yes, and a little bit more about housing. One of our largest goals at LAE is to make sure that our clients are informed and that they are making decisions not based on fear or threats, but because it is the best decision for them. And a point that we want to stress is that should you receive an eviction notice or an unlawful detainer or a sheriff's notice, you do have rights, and we at LAE want to protect those rights. We have a grant called Tenant Right to Counsel, which basically ensures that anyone facing an eviction absolutely has the right to an attorney, and we will represent at no cost. Okay, so a little bit on our intake process. You can call our office at the number listed, and you will first be connected with our frontline coordinator who directs to the appropriate department. I work for the financial security department, and we assist with end of life planning and consumer debt defense and also foreclosures. Um, and I can facilitate warm handoffs, and I am part of the support staff that helps direct clients to the appropriate department. So once it goes through the frontline coordinator, it would come to either me or someone else on the appropriate team. We would do an intake in which we would learn some basic financial information, demographic information, and a little bit more about the legal issue that you're facing. From there, it would be passed along to the correct department. Um, we hold team meetings in which we review cases, and after those team meetings, an attorney will be connected with you. All right, and here's information on our org. We are located on 1663 Mission Street, Suite 225. It's on the corner of Mission and South Van Ness. And there's our website. Um, you can submit a web form if that is easier than calling. And yeah, that's about it for me. I'll pass the mic back to Ashling. Thank you. Oh, any questions? I'm sorry. Let me take a look.
Thanks, Sydney. I think we're actually going to save time for questions at the end just to make sure we can get through all of our information first. Let's go ahead and hear from Rosa Mendez at Catholic Charities. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Ashlyn, and thank you, Sydney. That was very informative. Hi, everyone, and thank you all for being with us today and wanting to hear more about our programs. I'm Rosa Mendez, and I am the Assistant Deputy Director of our Aging Support Services at Catholic Charities. And although today I'm here to speak more about our long-term subsidy services, just a little bit of information about Catholic Charities. We have been serving San Francisco, San Mateo, and Marin counties since 1853, providing aging services, support services, services serving the youth and child development, immigration, and homelessness and housing services. And in regards to that, our aging, and like I mentioned, I'm part of the aging support services, and just within our aging services of Catholic Charities, we offer services through our San Francisco and San Mateo adult day programs, which are fee-based programs. There are sliding scale fees. And some of these programs are also funded through the Department of Disability and Aging Services. Also, we have other programs that serve also individuals that have dementia and or memory impairments with our, and this is in San Mateo, our San Mateo Memory Cafe, which is more of a come together socialization where families can come with their loved ones and join other families and support each other and participate in various activities and events. And that again is occurring in San Mateo. Also in our aging services, we have a program that's called Breaking Bread with Hope, which is a program that occurs at least monthly for individuals that are adults with disabilities. And it is a socialization program. It's a come together program wherein people get together and enjoy each other's company and participate in activities, learn about different resources and information, and again, just come together. In our programs, we also have our Aging and Disability Resource Center. As Ashlyn mentioned earlier, it is a place where people can come and look for, receive information and resources, receive assistance with application, translation, and things to that sort. We also offer aging case management services to individuals that are seniors and adults with disabilities. And we are part of our community living fund one-time purchase, where we partner with the Institute on Aging and we provide services to the community that way. We also have our Catholic Charities OMI Senior Center, which is located in District 11 at 65 Beverly. It is open to all seniors and adults with disabilities, and it's a very lively center filled with activities, resources, presentations, and there's nutrition, and there's just a whole lot of things going on. But as I mentioned today, I am going to really focus more on our long-term housing subsidy services. And yes, can we go on to the next slide, please? So the purpose of our long-term housing subsidy services to provide rent assistance to seniors and adults with disabilities in San Francisco who cannot afford the rent and may be at risk for eviction. The goal of this program is to keep people safely housed, to keep them from eviction or from risk of being institutionalized or homelessness. And our other goal is to connect folks to crucial resources, community resources and services, so they can live their life independently and have a better quality of life as well. We are funded through the Department of Disability and Aging Services and their phone number, because they also offer so many other resources and services, is on the slide if anyone's interested. We are a staff of 3. We are open from 8:30 to 5 p.m. every day. Our locations are at 990 Eddy and 1111 Juniper Serra Boulevard. And other providers that also provide this service is Self-Help and Eviction Defense Collaborative. Who do we serve? Our target population are anyone who is demonstrating a need for service, a need for a rental subsidy. This could be persons with low income, persons who may be socially isolated, persons who are limited in English, persons, community of colors, LGBT, and anyone who appears to be at risk of eviction or institutionalization. Our goal, again, is to prevent people from being removed from their homes, and instead keeping them safely housed, helping them to continue living out the rest of their homes, the rest of their lives, excuse me. Eligibility is, again, you need to be a San Francisco resident, be 60 years or older, age 18 to 59 with a disability, have an AMI income level or below 50%, must be willing to share proof of income, and also be willing to provide more information about a lease, your rent, a lease, and landlord information. Thank you. Next slide, please. So some of these subsidy services, these are short-term services, a short-term subsidy, and or a long-term subsidy, depending on the need of the individual. The rent assistance we provide can be up to $800. We offer the rent payments. The way the subsidy works is that we offer anywhere between a 30 to 50% subsidy support, where it puts that person at a rent burden of either 30 to 50%, depending on their income to rent ratio. And we also offer a one-time assistance of back rent, moving cost, and or first month rent and security deposit. And that's after that person is new to the subsidy service and is eligible and will continue receiving the subsidy. We also offer case management assistance. That is one of the requirements of our program, and for individuals to participate in. Our referrals come through all community providers, individuals, families, and of course self-referrals. We offer services in various languages, English, Cantonese, Mandarin, Spanish, Tagalog. And of course we use Language Line as we need to make sure we can communicate with individuals that applied for our services. Our information is on here with our contact and with email as well. And just to put out some of the highlights before we go on to how this program works further, is this year alone, we have served 103 individuals and have closed 12 successfully who have become independent of the subsidy and have moved on and continue to live out the rest of their lives with other resources in place. We currently have 93 active clients. We have since distributed 1,139 subsidies. And for many of those, mostly our seniors are paying 30% of their income towards rent as part of the subsidy support. And our adults with disability, at least we have 9 adults that are paying 30%. And the rest of our clients or individuals are paying at least 50%. And just talking with all those folks that we've served, and asking them if they've been able to remain safely housed, we have been told that almost 100% agree that this program has really helped and supported them. So again, our successes have been keeping people safely housed and lower that financial burden and support them just in their lives and receive a better or have a better quality of life and continue living independently with the assistance from the subsidy. The challenges we are having, of course, as we know, in San Francisco, things are very expensive and rent is very costly. And there is so many folks that we do need and we want to support. So more funding is needed for these services, and additional more community resources and services is very important. Next slide, please. So how does this program work? So we call it, there's 5 steps to these services. The first step is through our intake, which is an application process. We review our application, we review all the required documents that we request prior to moving to our application. And this usually can take anywhere from 14 to 30 days. It normally doesn't take longer than that. Then once all that information is in, then it does get reviewed between the staff and myself. And if that individual is eligible and they're ready to move on to the next step, the case manager receives, one of the case managers will receive a new case, and they will review all the documents, and then they will communicate with the client, with the individual, and the process is discussed at that time prior to making or scheduling a home visit. And then the home visit is scheduled. And during that time, there's also discussion about a home safety inspection, which is a very basic home inspection, not the 100-page inspection I've been told, maybe from HUD, but it is very basic. It's more around safety. And then during this time, after the home visit is met and they meet with the individual, the documents are reviewed, the releases are discussed, and signatures are obtained. And again, this is still all within the time frame of 14 to 30 days. Then we move on to step 3, all those, which is to review the document, the application and everything, review the checklist, make sure we have everything in place, make sure once again that individual is appropriate for our program, and that they understand our program and are willing to participate in our program. Once all that is complete, then the individual will be placed on our subsidy wait list as appropriate. And then they move on to the step 4, which is wonderful. They are now approved, and now we can start talking about when they receive the subsidy. Once they are on the list that we have, either they will receive the subsidy, depending on if the subsidy falls, or the application is complete and it falls on the 15th or earlier of that month, then they will receive the subsidy the following month. Or if it is, or I'm sorry, on the same month, or if it is on the 15th or after, then they will receive the subsidy on the following month. If there is any eviction, or we're being informed that there is eviction or urgent needs, we can, if the individual is approved, we can provide a promissory letter to help with that. And then finally, step 5 is monitoring, and this is something we do every month. Our staff will conduct monthly phone check-ins with the individual, discuss any goals, refer to resources and assistance and services, and then do an annual recertification. Next slide, please. And this is our team. Again, there's myself there. I oversee the program as well as some of the other programs. And then our staff, Christian, who has been with us for almost 2 years. And our staff, Z, who's been with us about a year. And Christian speaks Spanish and Z speaks Cantonese and Mandarin. And yeah, and they can be contacted at any time, but they're the persons that you will be speaking with. Next slide. And again, here is more information about our subsidy, our staff, and all of us. And I just want to say thank you again. And if there are any questions, I think that's where we're going to move next. Thank you. Back to you, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Rosa. I appreciate it. All right. So one other thing we wanted to highlight for you before we move into your questions is this accessible housing priority, which is a critical part of submitting an application on Dahlia, which is the main tool for looking for and applying to affordable housing in San Francisco. We want to make sure you all know that any publicly funded affordable housing development must include priority units based on ADA guidelines to provide accessibility features to you. So we want to make sure that when you are using Dahlia and submitting applications, anytime you're looking for rental and ownership opportunities on Dahlia, please make sure that you're making use of this feature that gives you priority for units that have mobility assistance built in for those who have vision impairments as well, or hearing impairments. So please know you must indicate that you need this accessibility feature on your application to be prioritized. I see clients every day who are doing these applications and don't realize that it's really important to let folks know what your accessibility needs are. In fact, so you can be prioritized to receive a unit that's going to work best for your needs. A couple other resources we wanted to highlight, like Rosa mentioned, the Department of Disability and Aging Services and the DOS Hub have just a wealth of fantastic resources and information for you. I strongly recommend giving them a call, or you can also visit them at 2 Goff Street. Self-Help for the Elderly is another fantastic partner of ours at Open House, and they are just prolific throughout San Francisco. They provide a variety of senior services and services for folks with disabilities, home health care, meals, and they have 10 different locations scattered throughout the city. It's amazing to me. The SF Connected program provides free computer tutoring and support to older adults and to adults with disabilities. Their phone number as well as the website are listed here. We also wanted to highlight our County Veteran Services Office. Their phone number is listed here as well. All right. I think with this slide, before we invite you again to come to the Housing Expo that's this weekend, I do want to take a moment to look at our questions here. So one of the first questions that we have received and seen throughout this presentation is someone asked, is there and where can I find senior housing in San Francisco? Rosa, Sydney, do you want to highlight this? Rosa, you look like you want to say something. Go ahead.
I do. Thank you, Ashlyn. Yes, and as we know, seeing any housing is very difficult in San Francisco. I would recommend definitely connecting with some of the housing specialists at the various sites, and I can send some of that information to you all. But also connecting, there is through the mayor's office, there is a site called Dahlia Housing, where people can apply for housing through them and to see what is available. And you know, sometimes it's a lottery, unfortunately, but there is support that way, and usually folks have connected and gotten housing that way. The other thing is we do have a list of housing, and it's not necessarily senior housing, but it is their websites of various housing locations that people can go to and just look and see what's available. And that might be supportive. And Ashlyn and Raquel, I can also send that out as well if you want to share that.
Thank you, Rosa. I appreciate that. Yeah, Raquel just put the link for the Dahlia website in the chat as well. So folks can take a look at that. And if just looking at that website feels overwhelming to you and you need some hands-on support, Homeownership SF, they connect all of us different rental counseling agencies that are here to provide hands-on support with your housing search. They connect all of us in one place. So the Homeownership SF website is also a great place to see the variety of different agencies and workshops that are out there to help you with getting to know and get comfortable with Dahlia and some of the other ways to look for and apply to affordable housing. All right, Sydney, I've got a couple legal assistance to the elderly specific questions. Someone says, I see you have a practice in eviction defense. Do you provide legal assistance / representation?
Yes, we do. We assist plenty of seniors in SF with eviction issues. 90% of the cases in which we represent evictions, we have won. So yeah, we are here to help and we are effective.
What a record. That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Okay, another LAE question. Do you help seniors with tax preparation?
We do not. I believe for that matter, we would refer out to balance.
Got it. Okay, great. Okay, and then we have another kind of general question, which is at what age do you consider a senior for services? Sydney and then Rosa, would you like to speak to your specific programs?
Yes. So for our programs, we consider seniors age 60 and older who live in San Francisco. And we do also consider those 18 years of age and older, but they must have a government verified disability. And that usually means that they receive SSI or SSDI.
Great. Rosa, how about you?
Yeah, thank you. And I concur with Sydney. We also consider seniors 60 years and older. And as Sydney was mentioning, and a younger disabled, 18 to 59, we say, but we do need to see something that shows us that they are receiving SSI or something that shows a disability.
Great. Okay, thank you. And I can speak to some of our work at Open House. So when it comes to our general programs, especially for our like social activities and for our other programming where we're just getting folks in and together and in community, you can self-identify as a senior truly at any point, especially in the LGBT community. We have people who consider themselves elders at a variety of different ages. So we are not checking any IDs when we let folks into our general programming. I will say, by and large, when you're looking for senior housing, these days the age range is typically set by the federal government. And so that is something we cannot control and usually is about 62 or older. Sometimes you'll see housing buildings where the age requirement or age minimum is 55 and older. However, those are becoming increasingly rare. I will say also something to keep an eye out for when you're looking at senior housing is that some places, I'll say most places, will ask that the head of household be the person to meet the age requirement for the application. Usually the head of household is just whoever's name comes first on the application. However, some properties will actually require that every person in the household be a certain age or older. The only way to know for sure is to check the fine print on that particular housing application for what their age requirements are. Okay, let me see. We've got some other questions coming through. Okay, a question for all organizations. What kind of assistance do you provide with employment for elderly folks, please? Rosa, do you want to
For-
take that one first?
Sure, for someone who is employed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sounds just like general. I wonder if it's about employment searching or if we're looking if somebody is employed, what services are available.
Yeah, I mean, we don't provide, at least in our housing, we don't provide employment or assistance with employment services. We do refer to the different programs or services that are out in the community. But and even our case management services, we do refer or provide that resource if it is available, but we don't provide it ourselves.
And I would add for legal assistance to the elderly, we do not normally assist with employment cases. However, if, say, you were a resident manager and you are fired and you are being evicted from where you were living, then we would assist with that because that's where the two would intersect.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying, Sydney. And I'll say for us at Open House, we don't have any programs directly for providing assistance with finding or keeping employment, but our neighbors at the LGBT Center do actually offer employment services for folks of any age. That involves things like resume building, help with creating a LinkedIn page, and with some actual hands-on assistance with looking for and applying to jobs as well. So we don't do it, but we can walk you right over to our neighbors. They're just a block away. Okay, I see another question here. Does Dahlia have housing allocated to those over 60 and or disabled in their lotteries? Or does one need to apply directly with property management companies? I'm happy to take that question. So Dahlia doesn't automatically prioritize folks who are over 60 or who have disabilities. However, Dahlia as a platform will sometimes host and have applications available for senior or disability specific properties. So a lot of the management companies that you might be familiar with that provide affordable housing, like Mercy Housing, the vast majority of those companies will actually be putting their housing opportunities for seniors, people with disabilities, or otherwise on Dahlia for you to apply to. So getting email alerts and paying attention to the housing opportunities that come through Dahlia is a great way to be aware of it when senior and disability related buildings do have availability, either on a waitlist basis or with units readily available. So Dahlia is kind of a great one-stop shop in order to get more information about housing applications. Okay, let me see. Rosa, somebody asks, is rental assistance from Catholic Charities a one-time thing or ongoing?
Oh, lovely question. I love that. Yes, it is an ongoing assistance. If the client, if we determine and, you know, if it is determined that the individual needs the support, and so it can be long-term and, or it could be a short-term subsidy as well.
Okay, so both. We love that answer. That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. If I am disabled, but my partner or spouse is not, can our household still qualify for a San Francisco accessible priority unit? The answer is yes. So just one person has to have a disability to qualify for one of those units. So you can have a mixed household where someone is perhaps younger and a caregiver, living with a senior, and you can still, or someone with a disability, and you can still be qualified for a priority unit through Dahlia. Okay, another individual asks, what should I do if I am behind on my rent? Any ideas from our panelists?
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that. So if you are behind on your rent, and you need assistance, there is a program through the mayor's office. It's called the San Francisco ARAP Services, and Catholic Charities is one of the participants that do take applications and support individuals. And you can definitely call our main number for that. I don't know if I'll just provide it right now. It's the 415-972-1200, or look on our website and someone should be able to assist you. Otherwise, you can contact me directly and I can try to guide you.
Great. Thank you so much, Rosa. Okay.
And
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to also recommend for if you are living in the Excelsior district, we at LAE participate in legal clinics held in District 11 on second Wednesday of the month for tenants' rights. You can come in between 4 and 7 and have an in-person consult. Alternatively, you can make an appointment at 415-757-4500, and I'll put the number in the chat as well as the address. And you can also contact Eviction Defense Collaborative, and I'll put the information for that in the chat as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Sydney. Okay, I think we are coming close to the end of our time for questions. I see one last question where someone asks about an individual that they know who is interested in these services, but they live in Concord. Does that disqualify them from receiving services from us? I can speak for us at Open House, and I think this is true for most agencies across the board in San Francisco, which is that you do have to be a San Francisco resident to receive our services. That's not to say that our agencies couldn't help you search and potentially connect you to similar organizations that are in Contra Costa County or in a similar location. So we do understand it can be challenging because a lot of us are coming from all over the place in the Bay Area to get to where we live or work. So please just know, do reach out to us. We might not be the agency to assist, but we definitely will do as much as we can to find a similar agency that can cover those gaps for you. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a bit more about this housing expo that's coming up this weekend. Somebody in the chat asked, why should I go? What's up with this? Yeah, you should absolutely come to the housing expo. It's going to be at 1520 Oakdale this coming Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. Why should you come? We have a resource fair where us at Open House, Catholic Charities, and Legal Assistance to the Elderly will all be there tabling, in addition to a variety of other agencies that all help people with housing in San Francisco. Beyond just having resources available to you there will actually also be a live help center where you can physically come and sit down with someone who can answer some of those burning housing questions that you have. So not only will you get information to get connected to other resources down the line, but you can also get hands-on help this weekend with some of those questions that you maybe didn't get to put in the chat. So please do show up. We'd love to say hi to you. Come by our booth at Open House. We'd love to say hello. All right. We do have a workshop evaluation survey that we will be sending out, and you can also type in this link here. We would love to know how this panel was for you, and if you have any further. Oh, the address again for the Housing Expo. Yes, it's 1520 Oakdale in San Francisco. All right. Thank you so much, Rosa and Sydney. Thank you everyone who attended today. Thank you, Raquel, for being our driver behind the slides. Thanks for being behind the scenes today. We really appreciate all of you, and we will still stick around in case there's any other burning questions. Thank you all so much today. Thanks. Raquel also put the survey in the chat. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. I'm keeping my eye out for any other questions. Thank you. All right, folks. And if there's nothing else, have a great rest of your evening and stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Okay, is anybody still there? No.
There's 22 participants.
Is there?
Hi, Linda. If you had a question, yeah, we're still
Yes, I
available for a couple more
did.
minutes. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
I somehow couldn't get on here at the beginning, so it came in quite late. Is this recorded somewhere that I could access it later?
Yes, it is being recorded.
That's-
Homeownership SF actually has a YouTube channel. And so this
okay.
presentation will be available later on that way. Raquel, is there anything you want to add about the video availability?
I believe we'll also be posting it on our own website once it's done. So
What
if anything,
your own website? What is your own website?
It's home
Open
ownership.
House?
No, I'll type it in.
Hmm?
Thank you, Lynn. That's our website, and then our YouTube channel.
Okay, remember you're talking to a blind person, so if you're
Oh,
showing
you
me something,
are.
yes.
Okay, I am so sorry, Linda. I
That's
do
all right.
apologize for that.
I didn't warn you. Okay, so homeowners, how is that spelled?
Homeowners, oh, for sure.
Homeowner,
Homeownership.sf.org. So that's
yes,
H as in Harry,
right. I got it.
O as in
Homeownership,
S as in
oh,
Sam, F as in Frank. So homeownershipsf.org
right. All without a dot.
with a dot.
.org. Okay.
.org.
So why are you called homeownership when most of us are looking for rentals?
Oh, okay.
That
That's
was
a
very confusing.
And I do understand that. Don't worry. If you come to our website, we will have a great reveal wherein we will have a great reveal and make it so much easier for all of you. But just
Okay.
for the next few days, let's stay with homeownership itself. The reason why it's like that is because when it was first established, this was to our organization was to address and basically coordinate all homeownership services in San Francisco. And that way all the process and procedures are basically coordinated. Everything is provided in a systematic fashion. Now, that being said, of course, homeownership in itself is not the only housing option in San Francisco. We've realized that rental is definitely a big portion of that. Financial empowerment is one of that as well, and being able to act as a conduit to be able to collaborate between all the different agencies in the city
Right.
that provide assistance and actually touch on housing. So that includes our legal assistance groups. We have Catholic charities, and so
Okay.
yes, and that's the
Okay.
reason why we're homeownership SF. But don't worry, if you come to our come to the expo, you'll get to see that we might not be homeownership SF. off for long, and it won't be that long anymore.
Okay, there's one more burning question I have. What is your relationship to the San Francisco Housing Authority, which I don't think I've heard mentioned?
Oh, great question. We do not have any direct relationship with the San Francisco Housing Authority in terms of operations, but in terms of a networking perspective, we do refer people to their programs. We do provide basically resources whenever they release any programs or any type of listings that they have.
I've been on
We
their list. I've been on their list since 2016 and have got just about nothing.
I hear you, and I'm so sorry. If ever there is a wait, and I do understand it can be quite a wait for a lot of people. What I would
Yes,
recommend is if you could kindly, at least check in every once in a while, check in with our customer service, try and
I
see
do.
if how far along you are with regards to
Okay.
the wait list. Also,
Yeah.
another thing I would recommend is to make sure that all your contact information is still up to date because they may
Yes.
be contacting you and they may be using a
No,
different number and things like
I've
that.
been in the same place for 40 years. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's a little bit misleading for you not to even mention them in all of this, as if Dahlia was the only game in town and there's the SF, whatever it is, housing authority. So at least a nod to them, or maybe to explain to people who've been waiting as long as I have that, they're out there, but I don't know. Anyway, it seems like a little bit more of a connection would be useful, at least as an explanation to people who are kind of scratching their heads. So, but anyway, thank you very much. I'm sorry I think I made you late now, so I will just sign off and thank you again. I'll look for you on YouTube.
No need to be sorry. No need to be sorry. That's what we're
Okay,
here for. We're here as a
right.
resource. And thank you for the feedback you've provided.
Okay, thank you. Is there more? There's more tomorrow?
There are more tomorrow. There's more even tonight. There are a couple more workshops that are available tonight. Later on, we will have. I will also be overseeing a Know Your Rights segment for SF tenants. So we have one, and I believe the one in the middle, I think, is a home ownership one. If you're interested to learn a little bit more about your rights as a tenant in San Francisco, I invite you to join us also later on at 7 p.m.
Okay, so I can't come at 7, but that's okay. Uh,
That's good. Well, tomorrow we still have
Okay,
another set of workshops. So
okay,
if you can come, that'll be great. We'd love to have you.
okay. All right, thank you very much. I'll check it out.
Thank you, Linda. You do take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a great evening. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to get out of here.
Don't worry, we'll be closing it out if ever. Um,
It
you're
doesn't
you're
doesn't
fine.
work. It doesn't work like my other Zoom things.
I
Okay,
will make sure to do that. But thank you so much. You do take care, okay?
okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you so much. Ashling, I don't know if you want to round up and see if anybody still might have questions. But if anything, I could also close the door or close the window.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. Thank you so much, Raquel.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ashling, Rosa, and Sydney for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And I'll catch you all at the expo. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
You too.